Hey guys, welcome back to my Commander deck opening series for Commander 2015. So last time we opened Mizzix of the Is Magnus and the Seize Control deck, which was the red-blue one. Very spell-based, low on creature count, high on random wins, I'm sure, where you just kind of have a ton of experience counters and play your entire hand out, draw a ton of cards, and just play a bunch of stuff and just win out of nowhere. Looks like a fun deck, but as I had said last time, there wasn't a lot of terribly interesting cards in the deck. I feel like they played it safe and didn't want to push the power level. Mostly because in the past there have been plenty of blue decks and precons that have been really powerful, or they printed really powerful cards that ended up being staples in eternal formats, legacy or vintage. So I don't think they really wanted to push the envelope there. They didn't want another issue like the 2013 Commander decks, where the Mind Seize deck not only was the most popular, but secondary market prices were $60 and up for a deck that was only $30, to the point that when they started when they started their second shipment of decks, they included 2 Mind Seize decks in the box of 5, and then 3 randomly assorted of the other 4 remaining decks, because the other 4 weren't selling anywhere near as much as Mind Seize was. I was lucky. I was able to get my hands on a Mind Seize deck immediately. Shoutouts to Battlegrounds Games and Hobbies for once again hooking me up with the whole set of Commander decks. And without further ado, let's get this deck open. This is the second really hyped up deck of this series, so I'm really interested to see what's going on in this one. So let's get this thing open. Purple. That's pretty nice looking. Called Plunder the Graves. I'd imagine there's going to be some sort of reanimation. Sweet, of course. I believe Meren does that anyway. She's a reanimation commander. It's a nice oversized card here. Let's get rid of this plastic. Let's open this box. We got a germ token to start here. Let's get these rules inserts out. Alright, let's get this thing opened and start looking at it. See what we're working with here. Alright, for tokens we got Germ and Zombie. Experience counter. We got Elephant and Zombie, Elephant and Saproling, Spider and Saproling, Spider and Wolf. We got Zombie and Wolf. Okay. Alright, we got some green staples here. All Blossoms, it's a nice include. Phyrexian Rager. We get another Skullwinder here. It's basically Eternal Witness for both you and target opponent. Speaking of Eternal Witness, another Eternal Witness. That's a great reprint. Another Corpse Augur. Shriekmaw, that's a good reprint there. Got another Banshee of the Dread Choir. Acidic Slime, one of my favorites in Commander. Another Thief of Blood. Caller of the Pack, that was the other myriad. Skull Clamp, great include, great reprint. Soul Ring, okay. Vulturous Zombie was randomly upside down in my box. I don't know why. Whatever. Golgari Signet. Another Lightning Greaves, cool. That's good stuff. Thought Vessel. Each opponent sacrifices an enchantment. That's pretty good. Golgari Charm. Putrefy, there's a really good reprint right there. Alright, Meren of Clan Toth. So what she is whenever another creature you control dies, you get an experience counter. At the beginning of your end step, choose target creature card in your graveyard. If that card's converted mana cost is less than or equal to the number of experience counters you have, return it to the battlefield. Otherwise, you put it in your hand. So you're getting that creature back anyways. It's just dependent on whether it's going to be on the battlefield or in your hand. Mazarek Crowl Death Priest is the other commander here. He's pretty good. And then finally, Jared Golgari Lichlord. Again, another recent green-black card. Eldrazi Monument. This is a great reprint. I believe these were starting to push $10, if not higher. Creatures you control get +1/+1 and have flying and indestructible. And then at the beginning of your upkeep, you have to sacrifice a creature, or else you sacrifice the monument. Centaur Vinecrasher. This was a pretty cool new card. He enters the battlefield with a number of +1/+1 counters on it equal to the number of lands in all graveyards. And then whenever a land is put into a graveyard from anywhere, you can pay double green to return him to your hand. Bloodspore Thrynax was another new one. He has Devour 1, and each other creature you control enters the battlefield with an additional X +1/+1 counters on it, where X is the number of +1/+1 counters on Bloodspore Thrynax. Make your creatures pretty big, pretty quick. Pathbreaker Ibex was a new one. When he attacks, creatures you control gain trample and +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. He's pretty strong. Scourge of Nel Toth. This was another one of the big cards for this deck. He's a 6/6 for 7 with flying, but you can cast him from your graveyard by paying 2 black and sacrificing 2 creatures. That's really strong. Let's see. Phyrexian Plague Lord, Michael Oth. This was a good reprint. He was getting kind of tough to find. Butcher Malakir. Verdant Force. This was definitely another great reprint. This is an awesome, awesome card. Another high market. It's pretty good include there. I think I missed a new card back here. What did I miss? Besides the Confluence. This one's pretty good too, because it's also an instant. Target player draws a card and loses 1 life, so if somebody's at 3 or less life, you can kill them with this. Or you can get up to 3 -2/-2s, or you can get up to 3 cards from your graveyard to your hand. Dread Summons, I believe, was another new one. Each player puts the top X cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard. And then for each creature card put into a graveyard, you get a 2/2 zombie token tapped. So some good stuff there. Let's see. Victimize. Barter and Blood. Another... No, that's Spider Spawning. Okay, that's a different one. But then we got a bunch of lands. I don't think there's going to be anything interesting in the land section. These are usually pretty tame. This deck looks like it's really strong. It looks like it's kind of token-based, sacrifice-based. Oop, hit the camera again. Looks like I'm doing a lot of good work that way. You just kind of put out a bunch of creatures and sacrifice them all, make Meren bigger, bring stuff back, and draw a bunch of cards with Skull Clamp. Keep bringing back Scourge of Nel Toth. I don't know that Meren would be a really good card as far as trying to win with commander damage, but it looks like there's a bunch of stuff in here that can just make an army and then make them big and swing, and that is a great strategy. Other than that, I think we've kind of touched on the way this deck works. I'm gonna obviously try all these decks out 2 or 3 times. Maybe I'll do an update video after I've played 3 games with all of them and just kind of mention how they played and which ones I like the most. Eventually we're going to show you some of our decks, and I know I'm going to make Daxos, so Call of Spirits deck, into a permanent one, possibly others if I like them enough, but I guess next time we're going to get that last deck out of the way. Kalemni, Disciple of Erois. We got another Theros character here that gets their own deck. And we'll get to take a look and see how the red-white one looks. So, until next time, stay infinite, and I'll see you soon.